Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath,
the podcast where we discuss relationships in movies and our relationships with them.
I'm Polina Grunbaum.
And I'm Diana Rojek-Sconard.
Diana.
Hey, Polina.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
Good.
You?
I'm doing all right. Hanging in.
Oh, good. Hanging in. Hang out. Let's talk about the truth about cats and dogs.
Let's talk about the truth about cats and dogs.
It's 1996.
It is.
So a successful veterinarian and radio show host with low self-esteem asks her model friend to impersonate her when a handsome man wants to see her. So that was from IMDb. And I found a more extensive one on the Google search, but I had like way too many counterpoints to it. So I picked something short and just completely lacking rather than, something longer. And then 45 minutes in, we get started because then I'm done arguing with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this was my pick.
Yeah.
I saw this. I remember being obsessed with the trailers because... What was it? The trailer for this movie? It was just Janeane Garofalo. Yeah. I considered her to be just the epitome of brunette representation for me, and she was funny. And I think I can't even isolate when I first got introduced to Janeane Garofalo.
I was always a huge fan.
Really?
Yeah, me too. I mean, I feel like, I love her in. She was on The West Wing. I was been rewatching The West Wing to fall asleep.
Okay.
And suddenly there's Janeane Garofalo. It's like a little present.
I
loved her in the Larry Sanders shows.
Okay. So you had Larry Sanders.
It was Larry Sanders, right? Okay.
Well, it's Gary Shandling.
I'm sorry, Gary Shandling show.
Well, no. It's Gary Shandling played the Larry Sanders show.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all confused.
Larry Sanders show is the name of the show.
And that seemed to be a thing, though. Like, so Janeane Garofalo and like David Duchovny and David Cross and just all these people like working together for some reason. Or maybe that was just the fact that I was obsessed with the X-Files and David Duchovny was in there, and then also I was watching The Truth About Cats and Dogs at the same time because I was in.
Yeah. And 96 was that time.
I'm in.
I watched X-Files every Friday.
Oh.
I actually worked a lot. I worked at a bar, so I couldn't watch it.
That's when it was on Fridays.
Yeah.
Because for a while it was on Sundays.
Yes.
And I just don't remember which was which, but I just remember Fridays, X-Files, or possibly Sundays, and then X-Files. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
X-Files.
God, so long ago.
That was so long ago. That's when you watched TV, like when it came on.
I remember when it was on Fridays.
Yeah.
And then it was Good Friday. And I was upset because I couldn't watch the X-Files because there was no TV on Good Friday.
Oh.
Good old-fashioned Catholics.
Yeah.
Turning the TV off.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I remember being on an exercise bike and my VCR timer, the light would come on as it was supposed to be recording because I set the timer for it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, please get it all. Please get it all. Please let it be the right channel. Please. Because I had to set it the day before when I was frantic.
Yeah.
But if it's not on while it's recording, how do I know if it's recording the right thing?
It was stressful. It was a stressful time.
When VCRs were...
When you didn't have a backup. There was no like, I'll find this somehow. I'll get this episode somehow. It was like, no.
So back to VHSs. I had this on VHS. And in fact, I was looking... Oh, The Truth About Cats and Dogs? Not the X-Files? I had the X-Files on the VHS too.
I think I had some too.
No, so the VHS, I bought it on VHS when it came out. And then as I was looking, it said initial DVD release was sometime in 2001. I'm like, oh, that's special time.
Oh my God, yes.
When there was like, oh, it's available on VHS, but it's not available on DVD, which I did own it on DVD as well, eventually.
That's commitment.
That was me.
It's fair.
Yeah, and truth be told, this was an instance where Janeane Garofalo was in this movie. I'm going to see this movie. I loved watching the trailer. I think I recorded an episode of Coming Attractions where I could watch the trailer on repeat. And I did buy a Blues Traveler CD so I could listen to Run Around.
Oh, yeah.
Something about the harmonica.
Blues Traveler, it was also sort of a band like near where they were kind of... They had some sort of Princeton connection. So.
I was about to say this was in the Jersey times.
Yeah, the Jersey times. So I had a lot of Blues Traveler in my life.
Jersey Polina times.
Anyway, so So you watch this movie a million times?
I'd say I'd watched parts of this movie a million times.
Yeah. So
And I skipped a lot of other parts.
which parts did you skip?
Okay,
We're not getting there yet.
Well, we don't have to not get there yet, but wait, do I have to say it out loud?
Say it.
No, I'm not going to talk about the phone sex just
I
yet.
would skip that a million times. Watching that, I found watching that. I was watching it with husband and with Sean, and he both of us were like this is the most uncomfortable scene I could watch in a long time.
For the listeners at home, I'm giving a big thumbs up down right now because earlier Polina and I were talking about our last episode, White Nights, and how I was still poking her about the whole plane crash thing. And she's like, I forgot about that. I'm like, well, I forgot about the phone sex thing.
I mean, it was just uncomfortably done. I don't, you know me, I'm always up for a good sex scene. But that was not a good, yes.
I know this.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We talk about it all the time.
Hold on, let me write this down.
I'm always like,
Polina,
I like
always
it.
up
For a good sex scene.
good sexy times.
A good sex scene. But this was an uncomfortable sex scene.
Let's kind of give to the actual beats of the plot.
Yeah.
So Janeane Garofalo.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and the people in it. Janeane Garofalo, whom we've covered. Uma Thurman, who is actually the top billed person of this movie. You've got Ben Chaplin, who is the love interest, the adorable English chap. We'll call him Ben Chaplin. He'll be the English chap.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, it's just him.
I don't even know if he's Brian with a Y or not.
He never gets a last name either.
He's Brian. He's a photographer. And then there's Jamie Foxx, who plays, I guess, his manager / friend.
Yeah.
Who, I guess, sure, fine, whatever. And then everyone else is just kind of, no one that I caught on my radar, with the exception of the people who did the call-ins. Apparently, David Cross did a call.
I was wondering what, because I saw that Bob Odenkirk and David Cross were in it, and I was like,
where were they're apparently they're in the bookstore, and I'm just like, I don't know who any of this, but the person when they're checking out at the bookstore. And they're talking about, okay, so there's just way too much going on here. There's nothing going on in this movie, and yet there's way too much going on that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, so Abby is a vet. She has a radio show. That's two incredible accomplishments right there.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
I can't fully comprehend how old she's supposed to be, so I'm guessing her late 30s or 30s, because there's a comment that Uma Thurman's character.
And then you end up being 40, and then she goes, wait, what? So
yes.
she's clearly, I'm going to go with mid, yeah.
I'm going to go close to mid 30s.
Yeah, because I think in a weird way, too, it makes sense, because that's that one that where you do start freaking out. Is this going to happen for me? And yeah, because she's got a nice apartment.
Excellent apartment.
She's got really nice
Southern
furniture.
California apartment.
Yeah, Santa Monica.
Because Brian lives in Venice.
Yes.
According to his...
yeah, when I rewatched it, I was like, where is this? Where is this? And then we're like, Santa Monica.
Southern California, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, good taste, nice furniture.
There is that. That cat's adorable.
Oh my God.
She's an accomplished violin player.
Yeah.
I would watch that scene on repeat constantly, where she's playing her violin, and then you can hear Noelle and her boyfriend, Uma Thurman's character Noelle, fighting with her boyfriend Roy. And it's just, I would listen to I don't know what that song is, but it's the so good. Wait, did you know what it was?
I can't remember.
Okay, good.
I don't think I paid attention to it.
I didn't even bother to look it up all these years.
I think, I mean, she does. She plays really well, and she's a really great. She's a fan. She's got a great radio. I would listen to that radio show.
I listen to the movie version of it constantly. Yeah. And I really enjoy it.
I wish it was real.
It should be.
I really I wish, because the details and the way that she does, it's great. It's like Car Talk with one person and a little more serious. Yeah. And it's about cats and dogs.
It's
or about animals.
I like kinds. Well, yeah, there was also a fish call.
There was a fish call.
Turtle incident, but not on there. But so she's a vet, and she helps Brian on the call. And this is where I really started to pay attention. I'm just like, I loved this movie. I loved Janeane Garofalo. She was my hero. She was like adult Daria. So this is all that I wanted to be. And you got this guy Brian, and he calls because his dog is on roller skates.
Yeah.
And then it turns out, no, it's not his dog. He got the dog from the pound that morning. And instantaneously, I'm like, I don't like him.
Well, yeah, because actually, when I first saw it, I thought I didn't catch the whole pound thing for some reason. I just missed it, sound-wise. And
he got it for a photo shoot.
yeah, which I'm like, you got a dog for a pound for a photo shoot?
Yeah.
Because at one point she says in that call, she goes, I forgive you? And I was like, what is she forgiving him for? And now I realize when I rewatched it, it's from the pound. I got very angry. And I'm like, oh,
Is that
what she's forgiving me. Because she's basically like, I was like, at first I was like, this is so irresponsible. You're telling someone to take on a dog that you don't know. And then I'm like, oh, well, he did get it from the pound. And so she's basically like, well, you got him from the pound. You're going to have to deal.
Well, I was wondering, because for the longest time, I couldn't understand, I forgive you.
Yeah.
And so
but that must be
it. Well, just as long as that's your interpretation and not something that I missed in the dialogue.
Oh,
over the span of decades.
I could have easily, I could have missed something in the dialogue. Yeah, but like,
I also wonder about her advice too. So I have a relative who works with animals for a living.
Yeah.
Pat, hello, cat and dog. That would have been dat. Never mind. And I just want to ask her, is this the actual way to approach a dog? First of all, she would probably never stop she would appreciate a dog on roller skates, but not if the dog did not like it, which I imagine most dogs don't like it.
It didn't seem like he liked it.
He definitely didn't like it, but just in general.
I would think that actually.
I wonder how she'd feel about that in general, even if the dog did like it. But like approaching the dog and the whole thing, I still stroke the ears of my dogs. It doesn't calm them, but they're usually happy in general.
I mean, I love dog's ears, so I get that. I always stroke dog ears, but I've only seen this movie.
I will stroke Apollo's ears and then he'll shake. So I'm wondering
is it
if
like pleasure shake?
I don't know what a pleasure shake
like
is.
Is he like? Is it kind of like I love this so much? This feels so good.
No. It's like I accidentally like poked his ear and then he shakes.
Oh, okay. Not a good shake.
No, I don't think so. I think whenever he shakes like that when I'm petting him, I assume I'm annoying him.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So Abby's a great vet.
Yeah. Yeah, and she knows a ton, and she can really diagnose things very, very quickly. Like she's obviously very smart. Like she can put a lot of like things together pretty quickly.
Of course. I mean, when you're a professional, you can piece these things together. And her next door neighbor, Uma Thurman's character Noelle, is a model / actress / wannabe news reporter, and that's cool and all. And they become friends when Noelle's very angry, very loud, very obnoxious boyfriend calls Uma Thurman fat as he's dragging her out to a date, and he actually calls her a dumb bitch, and Abby jumps out and said, "Did you call me?" He's like, "What?" He's like, "I heard dumb bitch. I assumed you were talking to me." And just like right there.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. He's like, "No, I was talking to her." "Oh my God, your name is dumb bitch too?" "No wonder I've been getting all your mail because there are a lot of us dumb bitches out there." And it's just like, teenage me is just like, yes. Yeah. Just being able to roll with the punches, tell this jerk off that what the hell.
Yeah.
And I've read some, trivia that has since Janeane Garofalo does not like this movie. It was different than the original script, and she hates the dumb bitch thing, and she's embarrassed about the phone sex scene. And
I don't really blame her for that.
I don't blame her for some of it, and it's perfectly fine, but that standing up for someone else that you don't even know that well, that's something that should live in perpetuity as yes.
No, I was delighted by that. Yeah. Like just sort of like, it's clear that she was doing it because she's like, no one should be talked to this way. And I have to do something.
But something else that comes up, since watching Uma Thurman in other movies, I always considered her to be the weird blonde vapid thing because of this role. And since watching,
interesting because actually, like, that wasn't a lot of her roles.
well, again, when you watch something on repeat,
Yeah, that becomes the person. That actually shocked me about this movie.
that she was the
That
dumb
she
blonde.
was like the super dumb blonde.
Well, what do you know about her? Like, what other roles are you more familiar with her with?
Well, like
Gattaca, where she's a genius.
Like Gattaca, where she's a genius. Like even like Dangerous Liaisons, where she becomes like which I actually weirdly rewatched recently.
Huh.
Where she like sort of starts out. She's just naive.
I was about to say, she's just young in that instance.
Yeah, and then she becomes quite worldly.
I'm used to her being very good with a sword.
I mean, there's Kill Bill. There's like
I'm aware of the Kill Bill, but you also have to remember. I'm also remember the Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
from Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I guess like now that I think about it, I'm like, how many movies? Like,
wait, I'm sorry. Hang on. Is this that one time you had a drink with her?
I did have a drink with her. She bought me a drink once.
I think it's so funny that I am so jealous of it. I'm just like,
Do you want to tell the story?
I'm name dropping on your behalf. No, I've already told it. It's just, Polina, why are you having drinks with amazing people?
Yeah, well, she didn't really have a drink. As if anyone actually remembers the story,
I didn't.
All
I know is you had a drink with him.
She didn't. She bought me but we didn't talk for very long. That's kind of the whole punchline of the story.
Well, no, it's just no.
But I did get to sit next to her but I did actually have a drink with Uma Thurman.
I was about to say no. She didn't have a drink with me. I had a drink with her.
Yeah,
or whatever it is that sounds more impressive. I was looking for an excuse to bring that up again.
Yeah, that was.
I'm still waiting for my time with Denzel Washington.
It'll happen.
I know. I'm just being upset.
It's living in I think living in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. We don't get as many
celebrity sightings.
Many celebrity sightings.
Not in Venice.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know how it is in Venice.
So yeah, I too like. So you were watching Janeane Garofalo, kind of reading Person in the Riot Act.
I remember I watched her stand up, like one of her stand ups. It was I want to say it was a half hour, and it was enjoyable, but it wasn't the same stuff that I would repeat over and over again because I watched a lot of Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
And she was on there.
Yeah.
And certain parts of it, I could quote pretty well. Some of it is only very basic. Thing is like all I can remember now is like her talking about how she needs to be we need to have in the animal kingdom, you have National Geographic showing you, the chameleon who when a predator is near, watch as it blends in with its surroundings. It's like, why come we don't have these things built into us? Like there's somebody following me on the way to my car and that's like, see as Janeane blends in with the Geo Metro. And they'd just be like, what? And then I'd be fine.
I've thought about that for years. I really wish I had that. I took that as like, yeah, why can't we have that?
I like that. And the other thing she said, like, hi, I'm Janeane Garofalo. I'm here to see Dr. Katz. How do you spell that? Like the animal? So I always thought she was really funny.
Yeah. I was a fan.
She's,
I'm still a fan.
I was watching this last night and Ryan comes in and he sees her, and it's the scene where Brian, the photographer, is taking photos of both of them, but mainly he's focused on real Abby, not pretend Abby. We'll get there. And he walks in, he's just like, I'm sorry, this is the movie where she's supposed to be the unattractive one?
Yeah, and I generally, I have this reaction to every movie where there's supposed to be the one ugly duckling. It's Janeane effing Garofalo. Like, I'm sorry. She's not unattractive. And, I do think that they talk about that maybe more than I thought they would. But I was like, this is going to irritate the F out of me.
It wasn't as blatant as I thought. And one of the things I noticed...
And they do talk about how she has a lot of it is self-esteem issues.
And that's exactly where I was going. I just realized, so much of this is her. I mean, you do get the over-exaggerated... Oh, I'll go back to the bookstore. They're hanging out, Noelle and Abby. And as they're hanging out, this is after the whole mishap. So Abby helps Brian. He calls her back and says, I'd like to thank you in person. I'm sorry, I'm not usually the person who calls and asks a radio host on a date, but that, and then she describes herself as the way Noelle is, 5'10", blonde, thin, hard to miss, and stands him up. So he comes to the radio station and you see him become completely enamored with the beauty of Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
And so much so that he loses control of his dog. Don't care for that. That's strike 2, buddy.
I know.
You're at strike 2.
I mean, he like 3 days before, he didn't even want to be a dog owner. So,
It's still irritating. But I also understand that. I've overthought getting my first dog, so he irritates me. But so there's that. There is the guy in the bookstore where they're purchasing something, and they're Abby and Noelle are bantering back and forth about, again, Abby's low self-esteem, talking about, I don't want to deal with this type of thing. You bourbon guys think it's adorable. You puke and they line up to hold your hair back, which that just kind of imprinted onto my brain for years. And in the bookstore, you have the guy, Noelle says, you're the voice, I'm just the body. And then the clerk goes, and what a body it is.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, first of all, ew. But it's all around.
Yeah, I mean, that would be weird. If
the guy on the bike who's trying to do a trick to get her attention, just all the attention she gets. The guy in the coffee shop who tries to, who kills the bee because she has a little bit of a reaction to it. It's just, it's trying to underline this person is so attractive that guys will fall over for her. And that's, again, something that I looked at often. These are the girls where this happens. But now looking at it, you're highlighting these aspects of it, but man, Abby really needs to push herself up.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the kind of the crazy, like that's where they kind of reinforce this, and I kind of wish they'd spend maybe a little more time with it, but like that basically this is the story she tells herself, right? That like all of these things that make her amazing don't matter because she's in this world where the only currency is beauty. And that's not really true.
Not in radio?
Well, I know just in radio, but like in the world. You know what I mean? Like she's told herself this kind of like...
Well, it also doesn't help that she's in Southern California.
Yes.
Where that is amplified.
Yes.
As is my understanding. Because all the, most attractive people in the world are converging into Southern California in order to get
it is
work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you do go there, you're like, oh, wait, people are really this, like those people are real. Anyway, and so, and Uma Thurman's character, Noelle,
doesn't
sort of has the same story about herself, but it's that basically she is beautiful, and which is an accident of birth and not something she has earned, and therefore is never she dresses well. That's the other thing that sort of comes up, I think.
They do go to the makeup counter.
But then she ends up buying like ridiculous looking makeup instead of makeup that actually like makes her look better.
Yeah, that is the other thing. So I don't even know. Oh, right. So the whole turtle situation. The whole thing is that Brian sees quote unquote Abby. This is where it's going to get awkward because they're both Abby. But there's Abby, there's blonde Abby, and then there's body Abby, and then there's voice Abby.
Yeah.
And there's a whole thing where his manager comes with his niece and there's a turtle incident. So it's just, the stories were just based off of just one lie. I know this was the bread and butter of the rom-com genre. Yeah. But I just couldn't wrap my head around it entirely.
No,
I understand the lie by omission, but by that point, I think, did Janeane?
Well, because they keep going like, I'm going to tell her this time. And I'm going to tell him this time.
Yes, exactly. But my thing is it, Abby becomes very, not defensive, but just insistent that she's like, what? I don't like him. Clearly she does like him, but is it the fear of losing him, or is it just, I don't know.
Well, I think
because you're going to lose him.
I mean, I think so much of it is, it's just a absolute, I'm going to read it as like, it's such a fear of rejection and such a thing of basically, this is not a thing I get to do. I don't get to have a love life. Like, that's kind of how I read it. Like, basically that she's like, and the fact that she has to compete with Uma Thurman doesn't help, basically. And so she just assumes she's going to lose. And so she doesn't want to appear, I think, it's like a vulnerability thing.
Is it she's taking control of the only piece that she still has left? I am extracting myself from the competition, therefore I win?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Because I didn't play.
Oh, I understand the not playing.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, going back to when I finally had the courage to start asking guys out, the answer was like highest percentage of no.
But that makes sense. I mean, isn't that true of everybody who goes out with people?
3. I think there was 3 guys.
Okay.
Well, no. The point I'm trying to get that though is that those no's eventually got me to a yes, and even as my pulse was racing, and even as the no was coming, and even the pain that came after, it's highly dramatic. Oh my God, I didn't go to prom. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Well, eventually I did make it to a yes.
Yeah.
And so, seeing her fear is understandable.
But you were like a teenager and in your early 20s.
Yes.
You're talking. She's like a 30, a woman in her
No.
like early to mid 30s.
Wait, no. I was all a teenager, not in my 20s. I wasn't asking out anybody in my
Okay,
20s.
that's true.
Sorry, that was an unfortunate brag. For our new listeners, I married my college sweetheart.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, like, I think that, you're getting there. You got there at like, when you were supposed to get there.
I guess I just wanted to be a bigger cheerleader for her.
Yeah, but like she's getting there in her. She has told herself this story that she's basically an old maid.
Okay.
Right?
No, I do get that.
Right?
I was telling myself that at 14.
Yeah.
I'm an old maid at 14.
Weren't we all? I mean, I was like, no one's gonna like me.
I was projecting
I'm gonna be
myself.
happy.
I wanted to do the whole like, all right, where's the guy where I make that deal? If we're both single by the time we're 30, we marry each other.
God, that always depressed the F out of me.
Yeah, but I was planning for that like in my teens. Where is that guy? I was already quote unquote settling for that.
I had a friend who tried to make that deal with me when I was like 15.
I think I remember you telling me about that.
But I'm like, ugh. It just always made me sad. Like we're really young. Do we even want to settle down at whatever?
Right.
Like, how do we know? I didn't think I would. I wanted to I don't know. I thought I would have kind of a man in every port kind of situation going on, but that's not what happened.
Is there a version of that song? Because I know Traveling Man's that song from the 60s about all the different girls he has in different ports. Is there a female version of that?
Probably. I just don't know.
Okay. For the listeners, if you could let us know what that is, because we can't Google right now.
So, you rewatched the radio show parts?
The radio show parts, definitely. The parts in the beginning where you get these establishing shots of who she is and what she does, and this is what her life is. And again, if she had this like success thing was keeping her from having this relationship or a relationship because work and work and work or all these other parts, I'm not buying it in my 30s. In my teens, I'm just like, oh yeah, the only thing that's stopping her is I don't want to crap on her.
Yeah.
But because I have a deep sympathy for her.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like,
now that you're that age.
Now the snarkiness of it sounded so cool.
Yeah, totally. I know exactly.
In the teenage years. Yeah. And now it's just like, this is too much negativity. I love your wit.
Yeah.
I love how quick you are. You are an improv ninja.
Yeah.
But why don't we use a little bit of that energy on something that will make you happy? Or maybe, you know what? I don't even want to start giving it. So I don't want to give advice to fictional Abby while I'm on my high horse in my, in my self-confidence.
But the experience of rewatching it, I mean, you're right. Like I only encountered this. I heard about this movie. I didn't see it.
Until the podcast?
Until the podcast.
Oh, wow. Okay. I forgot to ask you.
No. It was one of those movies I know a lot of people saw. I just whatever, I had a lot going on in 1996 and I didn't have a lot of cash. And so going to the movies was, something I did, in very, very particular things. And so,
well, I'd also like to give a shout out to the Lady Pod Squad. When I was stuck between which movie should we do next, and I put a poll up of the two movies, and it was a complete 100% The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
I mean, it makes sense. This was a huge. I mean, it feels like one of those movies I know a lot of people saw and really love. Like,
I want to figure that
that's
out.
why I was excited to see it.
I believe
because
it's like 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't exactly making like Marvel Cinematic Universe money, so
Well, I mean, it isn't. Like, I guess it's one of those movies that like a lot of people I know have like think of as sort of one of their favorite romantic comedies.
Okay. I would like to hear more about that.
But I didn't have any experience with it. So.
Again, it just similar to like Better Off Dead. It's just like I wanted to see this character have their happy ending. Yeah. And have what they want. And now in rewatching it, eventually the truth comes out that so the notorious scene that we're talking about is Noelle tries to get Abby to tell the truth, and of course she just kind of chickens out in the middle. Yeah. And eventually Noelle tells Abby, she said, I think it went really well. I told them to call me. She's like, what, you told them to call me? And Noelle gives Abby's number to Brian. So they have this great phone conversation that apparently lasted 7 hours. Yeah. And that's amazing. But in the middle, at the end of it, they end up having phone sex. Yeah. And that's not bad in and of itself, but at the same time,
it's done in such an awkward, weird way.
It's pretty awkward. Also, the animals are in the room when
I didn't even think about that.
See, to me, it's just like
I'm not a pet owner. I have no idea. Do you just like ignore your animals? Do you send them out?
I don't want to take a poll on this either.
Yeah, I don't either. But I don't want to think about this.
Again, the way the animals are treated in this movie,
which is ironic because it's about
the truth about them.
Well, I mean, actually, like he ends up being a pretty good dog owner.
Too quickly.
He falls madly in love.
His dog's name is Hank.
I know.
It's just so cute. I love myself, but the Hank is adorable.
He is really, really cute. The dog is really cute and giant.
Mm-hmm. It's a Great Dane.
It's a Great Dane.
According to what I just read.
Super fun. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I just like, that scene was just, it was just, I guess it was probably an awkward situation. And so I guess it's an awkwardly done like sex scene, but I couldn't rewatch it. It was just too cringy. It made me really just cringy. Mm-hmm. And it's not because it was sex. It was just the way it was done. It was just something weird and
it was
strange about it.
I considered it off-putting.
Yeah, it is an off-putting scene.
Yeah. And so then it continues. And then, of course, hijinks ensue.
And they never talk about it.
No, they do.
I mean, they talk about it endlessly, about how they had phone sex, and it's so awkward.
Okay. Well, no, I was thinking about the hijinks ensuing.
No, I'm saying, like, after. Yeah. Like, they keep making reference to it. I'm like, please stop.
Oh. Okay. So, confessions, and at some point, because Brian feeds Noelle cake, she doesn't want to confess.
Yeah, because suddenly she's like, she has this vision of another sort of life of like, oh wait,
he likes me because I read books
because I'm smart and and he gives me book and he gives her a book and she goes, no one's ever given me a book without pictures, and I'm like, so wait, so my guess is that the character is younger than Abby, than the Janeane Garofalo character.
Possible. I didn't get that. I assumed that they were the same age.
I think I was just thinking like, well, she's a model, so she's probably, like in her 30s, it's going to start going down. And then also she just, she's still figuring like out the business, like, her manager taking,
15%,
15% rather than 10, or I don't even actually what managers make, but the way they set it up, like seemed.
Well, this guy was meant to be creepy McCreeperson.
Yeah. So you think like, oh, maybe, she's, that's one of the reasons that like Janeane Garofalo like takes her under her wing a little bit, that they're like maybe 5 years, 6 years separated was my guess.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I just know they're both older than me and therefore they're the same age.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Polina, I still think that you and I are the same age.
Well, But teenage me basically put everybody in an adult bucket and a non-adult bucket.
Yeah.
There were teenagers and there were adults. And like, there's no difference between a 30-year-old and a 40-year-old. And maybe then there's old people. Mm-hmm. So I get that.
Right.
But
in the end, the truth comes out, hence the name of the movie, I guess. And Brian's angry, of course, and actually manages to hit below the belt because of how betrayed he feels, and leaves. And
yeah, because he's really like split his heart open. I mean, he's just like telling how much he's realizing how much he loves Abby. He's obsessed, and it's just, and so like he thinks something really intense is happening, and then he's getting played.
He's not wrong.
Yeah,
something intense is really happening. It's just split between two people, and that's, I mean, he notices that she's a little bit off, but
yeah, he's like, she sounds different, and she's like, when we're together,
she's
there's
completely
this flow.
Yeah,
she's very tentative, and she's sort of.
I mean, he just says it generically, like she's a completely different person in real life.
But he talks about how she's like not as articulate, not as.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he kind of goes into a whole thing.
And then, of course, Jamie Foxx is there to say, like, doesn't matter, she's attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quote, anybody that fine, it doesn't make a difference. So there is that, and there's a falling out between Noelle and Abby, but eventually, they miss each other, and they come back together.
And watching their friendship blossom is actually kind of fun.
It's better than, but you're seeing two people who have different approaches to life, I guess we'll say, and so it's a little bit different. But it's nice to see them come together, and the whole thing with the turtle, it's Noelle. It's like, we're still not going to confess anything yet, so you need to, this is how you're going to navigate this turtle's pneumonia issue. You're going to have to give it a shot this way. So in turn, she's just like, hey, I did the turtle thing for you. We're going to do a makeover for you.
Yeah.
And that was like the most interesting non-makeover.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's actually how I felt that makeup counters would be. Somebody sneering behind the counter, looking at me, talking about my pores.
Yeah.
And talk about everything you're doing wrong. Look at the sun damage on your face.
Yeah.
That's irreversible. And so I'm just like, no, I don't want to go anywhere near this.
Yeah. Which is kind of ridiculous. Like, no makeup counter person would ever tell you that something is irreversible, because that means that they can't
sell you
the fade cream or whatever.
Well, that's all well and good, but beautiful people are assholes. That's what I got out of this movie, Polina.
But the thing is, Noelle is really sweet.
Well, she is.
She's super sweet.
Yeah.
She's super sweet. She's super like
naive, as you put.
She's naive, but she's also, she's got her own like damage, right? She doesn't feel good about herself at all.
Right. Well,
she's not going through life in this confident, like everything's great in my life thing.
No, but
she's actually has the same thing where she's like, I deserve very little.
That's even worse. And she needed an article or a quiz in, I think, Cosmo to let her know that her boyfriend was a loser.
Yeah.
Loser guys, and how
it's
to
like,
spot
I
them.
guess, like in a weird, I mean, it's that thing of like those two friendships, they kind of need each other at this point to get to the next phase of their lives, to get out of this kind of sort of, this sort of limiting rut that they've both found themselves in.
There is that, and also a lot of this movie upset me in the realm of other women are the enemy.
Yeah.
I felt it the whole way through.
Huh.
Yeah. Even though they were becoming friends, I'm just like, be better friends, because you both have so much to offer one another.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even like, basically, that's the kind of funny thing is like, Janeane Garofalo wants to hate her, but ends up really, really liking her. And there's like, they have a friendship montage where they like do stuff together and hang out.
A little.
Like, I don't know.
Well, I can't figure out the time frame of this whole thing.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah, I couldn't figure it out
because he falls in love with quote unquote Abby very quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, and that kind of piled on my cynicism. Just like, you just think she's really pretty, but again, that's my own self-esteem talking as well. I don't know. Like, there's this great line after the makeover where it's a bad makeover.
Oh, it's like terrible. She looks like. It's funny because Uma, actually, all of her makeup is always really nice and like natural looking. And
Well, no, it's Janeane Garofalo with the
no, I mean like, but like Uma Thurman. So obviously, it's not like Uma Thurman. The Uma Thurman character is like done up in this like 80s eyeshadow. It's like, yeah, it's upsetting.
right, and at
It's
the
ridiculous. She looks like a clown.
well, yeah. I mean, she's. I was like,
And it's like all off. Like the lipstick color is terrible.
but that's like the '90s look, though.
No. Later on, she wears like that kind of. She wears lipstick that looks
right.
better. That looks good on her. You know what I mean? Like it's just. But this one was like too bright, and too weird. And I love bright lipstick. I'm like super a fan of. So it's not that I think, but it just doesn't go well. Like it doesn't look good on her.
No,
Which I think is that was obviously the point. Right?
right. But at the same time, though, when you have a professional putting all this stuff on you and you still feel off, I don't know. She was crying, and I was there.
Yeah.
Do you have a tissue? I think it's in your bag with your gift with purchase.
Yeah.
I know the lingo too.
Well, and I could tell like from that basically she's like, that's not, I mean, there was like, it's not how it's supposed to go.
I hope not. I hope not. Ugh. All right. So, all that said, truth comes out. Eventually, there's more hijinks involving the dog.
So many hijinks with the dog.
And then smoochy, the end.
And then smoochy, and then they get together. Like, so yeah, he basically is like super, super hurt.
Yeah.
And then they have a whole thing where they come back. Because they are messing with his head. I mean, they really are. Like, at one point, they decide what they're going to do is, since they can't tell him, neither of them can seem to tell him. They're like, we'll just get drunk together. And then they both kind of like flirt with him. But the whole setup is like, well, this is my best friend, right? And so it's kind of like, of course, as a guy who's trying to basically convince a woman to fall in love with him, you're going to make sure that you want to get the approval of the best friend. That's like key to the whole operation.
And that is another, again, that just her lines are so great, even though they're laced with so much bitterness. She's like, wow, he seemed really into you. He's like, he's tolerating my presence until he can be alone with you.
Which is like, actually, there was this whole sort of thing where they're they have a moment of real, like, kind of intimacy. They really clearly,
We're talking about the photography.
Yeah, the photography thing, but also the way they're hanging out. And then, but like Noelle is also experiencing feelings of like, I think I'm falling for this guy. And Anne is like, it's my turn. And this is what she does well, is basically be photographed. So there's a scene where he starts photographing them.
Well, there's the let's get drunk and try to get the truth out of him, see who he would prefer, and the other one was what is it? I'm gonna be there while the radio's on. Yeah. So it's like both of them.
Yeah, they keep like, instead of just like
telling the truth,
what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So there is that. But can you imagine being Abby? Noelle is there. You see this guy completely smitten with her. Yeah. And then it's just like, oh, I'm so sorry. This is my friend Noelle. I am actually Abby. And then just watching him turn and go like, well, hey, would you like to go out?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's like an awful situation to put him in.
It does make me wonder.
And of course, why would you put yourself in that situation? Like, nobody is going to be happy in that situation.
Well, it's also like, would he have actually said like, oh, wow, it's very nice to meet you. Can we, and then actually start a conversation with her? I mean, in the scenario of he comes in, he's completely smitten with visual Abby that he thinks it is. But I'm just wondering if it's like a 1-2 punch, because he was interested enough in her to say, "Can we have a drink together?"
Yeah,
when it was just her
they
voice.
Like always talk. Yeah, exactly.
So,
and then every time they hang out together, it's like they end up walking for hours and hours and hours.
Sure.
Like they end up running into each other after.
Yep.
After basically like, Noelle leaves.
She goes off the grid to do a job,
and she basically is like, and then they end up like walking around for hours, and he ends up taking his coat off and making sure that she's really warm and doing all these things.
But in the end, even that seemed its own version of awkward.
Yeah.
Because in the end, after they have this amazing day together, he says, if you see Abby, tell her I miss her face. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, which is, of course, exactly the intention, but it just doesn't make me feel good about him.
No, but again, he has like pledged. I mean, they have said this is, you know what I mean? Like in a way, it's like they've put him in this position of like this is who you're in love with. You are in love with this person because she has the full like she's stunning, but she's, you know, super kind, super intuitive, super intelligent, super funny. They have a lot of things that they like, that they have in common, that they care about. She understands about his art, or I guess that would have been the real Abby, but
in the literature.
Yeah, and like they have all this stuff, and it's like, I mean, in a way, they've set him up to fail.
They set up everyone to be unhappy.
Yeah.
So in turn, did that kind of sour you when there was a happy ending?
No.
Okay.
I was happy that there was a happy ending.
Okay.
Just because, actually, I have to say, I was like, oh, I wonder if I wonder if, you know, Janeane Garofalo could, like, you know, could she carry an entire romantic comedy? And I'm like, she totally can. I love Uma Thurman. I have a huge crush on Uma Thurman. But I was like, I just wanted more Janeane Garofalo. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's romantic, like it's a ridiculous premise, but like all romantic comedies have a ridiculous premise. So, but yes, I don't know. I just wonder, like, in a weird way, to watch this. I would have liked to have enjoyed this movie, you know, without just the cynicism of like being an adult.
I want to know what that original script was.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really
I bet
curious.
it was a lot better, because it was definitely like the script was really uneven. Like,
Yeah.
it felt like
It was originally like a independent and a little bit more in depth and better characters, and
I would assume so,
not a happy
yeah.
ending.
Oh, is it not a happy ending?
Well, how about this? The couple did not end up together, but that could be a happy ending.
Maybe.
Yeah, depending.
Yeah. No, I would have liked to seen it, because it seemed very Frankensteined in a weird way.
Well, that's the studio clashing with the creators.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, me
I don't
too.
know. The same way I assume that because Uma Thurman is attractive, she must also be dumb.
Yeah, which is ridiculous and insulting.
But also created this like future world where I believe you don't get to be attractive and smart.
Yeah,
Damn
which
it.
is like terrible. I mean, she is really smart. She went to school. She went to school. She got
I know more about Mira Sorvino's like background than I do Uma Thurman's educational background.
No, yeah. She's just very and her her father is this kind of well-known Buddhist academic. And so,
You don't need to read her resume.
No. I just remembered, that was like the thing I forgot, because I remember having his books, or having a book of his, and somebody telling me that, and I just remembered. But anyway,
I'll ask you first. When did they fall in love? Did you forget this part of the show?
No, I didn't. No, I.
You had this look on your face.
No, I had a thing, and then I just changed it, so that was my moment.
That matters.
So I think I think that they fell in love during that long phone conversation.
Before or after the phone sex?
Before.
Okay.
Please, God, before.
How dare you? Don't judge. No judging.
No, I think once you learn, you know, I don't know. I think the way someone makes tuna fish salad is important.
No pickles?
I kind of a pickle. See, you know how I feel about pickles. You know, I love my pickles.
I do love pickles as well, but it could clash.
Yeah, sometimes I put them in, sometimes I don't. I don't really have a strong position.
Well, she's emphatically anti-pickle, and that I can't get on board with that.
No, I can't either. But
Hall & Oates have said it. I can't go for that.
No can do. Yeah, no, I think that's when they really, because it was like they talked about everything.
7 hours.
For 7 hours.
I've had a phone conversation with a friend for 8 hours, and we were proud of that fact for a long time. Turns out it was just a whole lot of nothing, so...
But that's kind of how you get to know someone, is you talk about a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. I have no idea what we talked about.
Yeah. No, I used to talk to my friends for hours every day, and I don't know what we talked about. And I used to talk to Sean a lot more from the phone. And now sometimes, like, we'll be visiting somewhere, and I'll call him, and we're both like, how do we talk on the phone?
Right. What's weird for me is that I don't know what the time frame is, but I the weirdly smitten thing, it's kind of weird, especially when he goes through such an angry period afterwards when he finds out the truth.
Yeah.
So it's like he loves her, and he even declares his love when he's actually declaring his love to an empty bathroom.
Yeah.
And she becomes argumentative with him again and says,
Yeah.
I love you because you're so beautiful. He's like, no, I don't. I mean, she is, but that's not why I love her, which is really sweet in the writing. But I'm just like, you are confused by her. You're enthralled with her. I don't think you're in love with her personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I
mean,
imagine
maybe.
again, this is me being all cynical about this too. It's like, I don't know if she's in love with him. I think she's like weirdly, I don't want to say obsessed, but like has pinned something greater on him than she realizes and is calling it. And, she never declares she's in love with him.
She actually never says.
She never says it, and I don't even think she feels it either. I think she's being a little bit more, oddly enough, I think she's being a little bit more pragmatic about her attachment to him.
Yeah.
And is being so cynical about it. It's like she's too afraid to even admit it.
Well, yeah.
Even if she did, and even if she did, I don't think she'd still tell him.
I mean,
she's making me cynical now.
I mean, well, we can get to that thing at the time. So what do you think happened?
Well, hold on. I didn't answer because
when do you think that
I don't think that she did. I just think she's just really attached to him.
When did they fall into deep crush or convince themselves?
Oh, with that, I'm gonna say, dang it, having such a hard time. I'm guessing photography time.
When he really looked at her eyes.
Yeah, just looking at. Oh God, it's so hard because she's not the same person.
Well, there was definitely a thing between them during that time.
I think so. Yeah. I'm gonna say he kind of.
I mean, they always kind of have this flirt.
Yeah, because there's Abby when he talks to her, and Abby when he's with her, and then Donna, the alternate personality, who's there, but it's kind of hard. I don't know. But
I mean, him and Donna, even just her as Donna, when the three of them are together, they're having a really good time.
Right.
And they still have a really good connection.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna say the photography session.
That makes sense. Yeah, when he's kind of looking at her and finally she's really embarrassed, doesn't want to do it, and then she really looks at him and he's like, you've got these amazing eyes. You're really.
I'm gonna say for him it's a photography session when he's paying attention to her, actual Abby, and then for her, when she realizes that Noelle is getting the attention now that she was just getting, and she just kind of snaps. Originally, she said asking him a trite question of if you were stuck in the biosphere, would you bring in the Playboy Playmate of the Year or a Time Magazine's Woman of the Year? It's when she thought it was dumb, but then she's that drunk, and then she quote unquote snaps and goes just if you were trapped in the biosphere, I think that's when she hit her desperation point, and that was her moment. Which is unfortunate.
When she realizes how much she likes him.
Which is so sour, unfortunately.
Okay, so...
You go first.
Okay.
What happens next?
I think I'm less cynical than you are. Because
clearly,
actually, I feel like they have such a basis of... they have such a basis for a good relationship. Because
shared goals and interests.
Shared goals and interests.
Not even goals, but shared interests.
Shared interest. I think shared values. I think they both...
Is one of them honesty?
Well, yeah, that's kind of the messed up part, right? Because it's his value, and she's not... she basically let her...
It wasn't malicious.
Her insecurity, kind of abuse someone. I mean... It's not malicious. It's not malicious, but and it's a romantic comedy. A lot of this stuff happens, but it's just kind of funny where you get, in general, you get sold that someone's this really nice, they're very sweet. He talks about, sweet. She's very, because she's very caring about the animals. She's very, she likes people. She's, sweet, good to her coworkers. And obviously, good to Noelle, and I think and yet she's she's letting her her weird idea that she's not attractive enough mess with the head of another human being. I mean, it's always just like, so we're meant to like ignore that, as you said, like it kind of, there's something really irritating about that.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is a premise of a movie. I think that like, I think that they have the basis for a really, really good relationship.
Right.
Because, I mean, the fact that they can talk for hours, they like to do the same kinds of things. They respect each other's work a lot, which is like fantastic. Like she thinks his photography is great. They have very similar, aesthetic tastes, like the apartment.
I like that when she's looking at the photographs, he has a tiny moment of vulnerability where he's just like, no, don't look at those. That just pays the bills. And he's just like, oh no, that's not art. That's just, she's like, oh, these are really good. He's like, oh,
well, no, but he has them for the ones that don't pay the bills. He's like, don't look at those. Like, don't look at my art. But
either or. Well, either or.
Yeah, exactly.
He's ashamed because he's doing this for money, and he's ashamed because he's just like, it's not that good.
Yeah, but then he like wants to talk to her about it, which I think is really cool.
Yeah,
and you know, I think I think he will get her out of this thing because the way that he just goes overboard, like, you know, even before Abby's like, he knows, you know, who she is, or she just thinks she's Donna. He's like, he's so worried about her being cold. Like,
okay.
He's just like, I think he's
physically cold.
Yeah. I think he like not only lends a jacket, but also keeps like, you know, like warms her hands and like between his, and like, I just feel like he'll lavish her with a lot of like affection. And I think it'll heal something within her. So actually, I think they're going to work out.
You think so?
I think so. I don't think they're going to have kids.
Okay.
I think that they're going to...
Oh, they're going to have so many pets.
They're just going to have a lot of pets.
Yeah.
And...
They're going to be dinks.
And yeah, they're going to be dinks. And the thing is, I just think like... I think he's going to become even more obsessed with like pet ownership because the whole premise is that he wasn't planning to be a pet owner, and then he's like, "Oh my God, thank you so much," because
he pins it on her in a good way.
Yeah, because she does talk him into it, and does it in such a, you know, she doesn't try to. She kind of like, she doesn't push it on him. She sort of talks him into it.
I see that.
So yeah, I think they're gonna have a nice relationship. I do worry that she's not gonna get over her like insecurities.
Allow me to segment into that. So again, I originally thought that it was not gonna work because his resentment would have lingered through, and her suspicions of just like always being insecure, always wondering if he settled type of thing. Again, and that was the cynicism of being back in my 13-year-old self, just like, nah, it's not going to work out. There's no happily ever after there. Basically, Abby early was kind of channeling itself through me. I'm instantly part of that. But I am beyond that now. That's actually not true. No, I'm not beyond that. I am...
Depending on the day.
I have evolved. I have grown.
Yeah.
I have experienced, you know, happiness, relationships. And I'm a firm believer you don't need a romantic relationship to have incredible life experiences and satisfaction. But I'm going to push past the cynicism, but I'm still going to stay realistic. Her low self-esteem is going to have impacts on their relationship. They're gonna start. I mean, it can't be the whole they were so enamored with each other and then the thing happened and then they're back to enamored with each other. There's gonna have to be some trust rebuilding, and so the romantic in me is going to keep them together with a lot of hard work that I know they're both capable of because they're professionals. Also, I am starting to wonder how he can afford such a nice place in Venice on a photographer's salary.
Well, this was in the 90s, and Venice was pretty cheap.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know anything. I assume all California real estate is ridiculous.
No, I think it was still probably, well, and yeah.
I think it's safe to assume that. Let's not focus on the real estate.
But let me ask you, so you say there has to be a lot of trust rebuilt. Where do you like, whose trust?
Whose trust?
Like, who needs to do the legwork?
No, they both do.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I think she has to do a shit ton more heavy lifting in this.
They both have to be a part of it.
Yeah.
He has to start trusting again.
Yeah.
She has to. It was an incident. It was an incident that now that that's clear, you can rebuild from that, because there's not going to be a similar incident like, I accidentally
It's not like, it's not
did
like,
it again.
It's not like, I met and then you found out I went to, I actually ended up robbing a bank.
I don't actually have a radio show.
Yeah.
It turns out I'm not a vet either.
Yeah.
See, that's the incident where he has to regain, the trust. The incident is over. But more than that, she has to trust that he does love her.
See, and I think that he will. I mean, hopefully she won't bite, but like, I think it'll rear its ugly head. But he's just that kind of guy that's gonna, like, he's just such a romantic,
right?
He's such a romantic.
I think so.
And so he's always, he's like, he clearly loves like plotting little gifts and doing little things, and I think he'll like
the roller skate thing, like having her put on the roller skates to reunite them, type of thing. Yeah. Also, that's a little bit tricky though. Setting the dog.
That was cruel. I was like, she's gonna die.
Well,
like,
no,
or she's gonna like break an ankle.
No, that dog's not gonna cooperate that much.
Yeah.
I don't care how. I mean, like in the beginning of this movie, he was going to kill you. Mm-hmm. And now he's doing all these little cutesy go get my girl tricks.
Yeah.
So, but no, there's gonna be a lot of trust. And I don't want to sound like every advice column where it's like, it sounds like this is the kind of thing you need to speak to a therapist about.
I do think that she does.
She does, yeah, because that's the kind of thing that needs to work itself out. Why are you still?
Yeah.
Because
she's got these huge walls against it.
She has the walls, and I'm not saying that the walls existing are going to destroy everything, but if they stay up.
Yeah, she's not going to be able to have the kind of relationship he wants, because he wants the person who talks on the phone.
Yeah, and I'm sure she'll be there, but I'm wondering how much of that will get closed off when they're in person.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, they're not going to talk on the phone the whole time. So I think he is going to help her, and she is eventually going to. Again, there's going to be a therapy thing, because that wall is going to destroy everything.
Yeah,
but I think. Together.
So you think like basically like a year in, they're gonna, after like there's a certain amount of like, things become a little like calmer. It's no longer the epic love story, and he's basically gonna be like, look, this creeps up all the time. You have to deal with this.
Yeah. I think at a point. No, I think there's gonna be
you keep.
Yeah, he's gonna have a break. He's gonna have a breaking point, and they're gonna have a big kerfuffle about it. Mm-hmm. That's right. I used the word kerfuffle.
Oh, I wish everyone used the word kerfuffle. It's the best word.
But that is what's going to help them rebuild from the bottom up to solidify. Because I think I don't know of any relationships that are long, not being smooth sailing the whole time. So this is going to be their choppy waters.
Yeah, this is going to be that thing that they keep tripping up over.
So walls and sailing and the third metaphor,
shopping choppy waters
and choppy waters,
which is weird. No sailing in this movie.
So my not cynical self is going to give the happy ending, despite the crappy beginning.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like. I don't know. Yeah, and I wish that Janeane Garofalo was in more movies. Maybe not like this, but a little better.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's really good in ensembles,
yeah,
which is nice.
One thing I realized rewatching this movie, I realized this happens to me a lot. The first time I watch a romantic comedy that's not like one of mine, where I have this like history with it, I'm like, I can't. The machinations of the plot and the meet cute and the confusion and the like weird stuff, it's so hard for me to get past.
Okay.
And then the second time, I start to see the like sweetness of it.
Do you want to watch another plane crash movie?
No.
Okay, good.
No, but I actually enjoy a good plane crash. I enjoy watching a good plane
hell?
crash. I don't enjoy being in one. I enjoy watching crashes like, manufactured crashes in the movies.
All right. Well,
I like watching buildings blow up much more than I like fights. I loved watching the Titanic sink. It was like the only part of the movie I really enjoyed.
I think we lost everybody.
So anyway.
You lost me. Come on.
Really?
Well, I enjoyed watching buildings explode. What?
Really?
In your romantic comedies?
No, just in like movies.
No.
But people like watching this stuff or they wouldn't keep filming it.
But it just sounded really funny when you said it. That Titanic going down, pure tragedy.
I mean, that was just like the coolest thing is watching it sink.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I know. But other people chime in with me. That and like,
Stop giving them reasons to chime in.
Okay, so.
Yep.
We did it.
Well, there it is, The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
It is The Truth About Cats and Dogs. And that was her show, which is a strange title for a show.
I guess it'll work for a radio show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Cool. All right. So that's it for now on The Truth About Cats and Dogs. But for our next episode, we're celebrating 2 years.
2 years
of our
I can't believe
podcast.
we've been doing this.
Yeah. It's just, kind of amazing. Thank you so much for, being on this journey with us.
Yeah.
And we want to know from you, of all the couples that we have talked about, we want to know what your ending for them is. What happens to them after the movie ends. We got to chime in on it. Yeah. And we now want to know, like, tell us what couple or what character. Yeah. Characters. Maybe you're just like, no, forget that relationship. They go off to Paris and they go to art school. Yep. And they marry Chris Evans. Wait, what?
Wait.
In that order.
It's some wish fulfillment there.
Yeah. So you can write to us. Yes. We have our email, contact@HEAMCast.com. If you just want to have 240 characters worth of of the something, we're on Twitter @HEAMCast.
HEAMCAST.
We'll have threads on here as well. And you can get us at Happily Ever Aftermath on Facebook. Yes. And this is the best part. If you want to call in, we have a number for you. I don't know if it's official, but I want to cover our butts here. Message and data rates may apply.
We do not take the message and data rates.
Or just be mindful if you're calling this number.
It's not a 1-800 number.
No. But it is 510-269-7506. Yeah. All right.
And you can, feel free to send us a voice recording via email or...
For those of you who have the equipment or...
you have your phones. Just record on your phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a voice recording app on your Android phone, I'm sure, and I know there's one on iPhone.
I'm learning something new every day.
Yeah.
All right. So let us know. We'd love to celebrate by knowing what you think.
Yeah, definitely, because you guys are the most fun part about doing this.
Aw, that's really sweet, and also it's not me.
Well,
say yes. Say yes. It's them. It's not me.
Yes, it's not you.
Okay,
it's them.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, and
thank you so much.
We'll see you
Thanks
to celebrate.
for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you to celebrate 2 years.
Bye.
Bye.